Chosen one, I need you to hear something before another second of this day passes. God leaned forward from his throne, looked at the move you just made, and said 3 words that changed everything. That was it. Not that was close. Not almost there. Not keep trying. That was it. The final key. The one heaven had been watching for. And you did not even realize the weight of what you just did. The move was not grand. It was an act of obedience at a moment no one was watching. And the weight of it, in the spiritual realm, was seismic. There is also an ancient word I am going to give you before this message ends. A Hebrew word that explains why your move, however small it appeared, carried the weight of decades. Hold space for it. I know what you have been carrying. I know about the exhaustion that settled into your bones so deeply you stopped calling it exhaustion and started calling it normal. I know about the prayers that felt like they evaporated before they reached the ceiling. I know about the moments you almost walked away from everything because the gap between what God promised and what your life looked like had become so wide you could barely stand on either side of it anymore. But you did not walk away. You made a move, and that move, the one you thought was small, the one you almost did not make, the one that cost you something no one around you could see, that was the key God had been watching for. If you are hearing this right now and something in your chest just tightened, something you cannot explain, that is recognition. Your spirit knows what your mind has not caught up to yet. And the reason this message found you today, on this exact day, in this exact hour, is because God is not going to let you walk into your new season without hearing him say it clearly. That was the move. The waiting is over. If something in you just confirmed what was spoken, type the words, "The key turned," in the comments below, not as a wish, as a declaration. Because something unlocked the moment you pressed play on this message, and your spirit already knows it. There are things I am going to reveal in this message that will explain why the last several years felt the way they did, why certain doors would not open no matter how hard you pushed, why certain people were removed from your life in ways that felt cruel at the time, and why the move you just made carried more spiritual weight than anything you have done in a decade. But I need you to stay all the way through, because what God is about to say to you through this message is not information. It is activation, and it only works if you receive it in sequence. Let me begin with something that most people will never understand about you. You have been operating under a weight that does not belong to you. Not a weight of sin, not a weight of failure, a weight of assignment. And the difference between those 3 things is the difference between someone who is punished and someone who is being prepared. I have watched this pattern hundreds of times. The chosen one walks through fire, and everyone around them says something is wrong with you, but nothing is wrong. Something is being forged. And the forging is not random. It follows a specific sequence that most people, even most spiritual people, cannot see because they are looking at the surface. Here is what was happening beneath the surface of your life for the past 3 to 5 years. Your spirit was being enlarged, not your comfort, not your circumstances, your capacity to carry what God was building. And the reason it hurts so much is because capacity expansion always feels like breaking before it feels like building. Think about what happens to a seed. It does not gently open. It cracks. The shell that protected it becomes the very thing that must be destroyed for the life inside to emerge. And if you watch that process without understanding what was happening, you would say that seed is dying. But it is not dying. It is becoming what it was always meant to become. That is what happened to you. You were not falling apart. You were being cracked open so that something greater could emerge. And the people who walked away during that season, The ones who said you had changed, they were not wrong. You had changed, but they were reading the change as destruction when heaven was reading it as construction. I know there is a specific memory surfacing for you right now. A moment in the last 18 months where you made a decision that cost you something and you could not explain to anyone why you made it. You just knew. Something inside you said move, and you moved, even though the evidence around you said stay still. That was not impulse. That was obedience at a level most people never access. And God saw it, not as one of many decisions, as the decision, the final one, in a sequence of invisible tests that most people fail because they are waiting for the test to look like a test. But the real tests never announce themselves. They arrive disguised as ordinary moments. Now I need to name something that has been operating in your life that you have felt but never had language for. You have noticed that every time you get close to a breakthrough, something pulls you backward. Not externally, internally. A voice, a heaviness, a sudden wave of doubt that appears at the exact moment you are about to step forward into something new. And you have been blaming yourself for it. You have been telling yourself that you are afraid, that you lack faith, that something is broken inside you. But that is not what is happening. What is happening is something I call the action threshold. And once you understand it, years of confusion will collapse into clarity in a matter of seconds. The action threshold is the invisible line between knowing what you are supposed to do and actually doing it. And here is what almost no one tells you. That line is not empty. It is guarded. Not by demons in the way most people imagine, by a mechanism built into your own nervous system that was designed to protect you when you were a child, but has now become the very thing preventing you from stepping into your divine assignment. When you were young, your brain learned that risk equals danger. Every time you reached for something and got hurt, your nervous system recorded the lesson, and it built a wall. A sophisticated, invisible wall that activates every single time you approach something that could change your life. Your body reads the change as threat, even when your spirit reads it as invitation. And the result is that paralysis you have felt at the edge of every major breakthrough. Not fear of failure, fear of the unfamiliar magnitude of what is on the other side. So, every time you tried to push through and could not, it was not because you were weak. It was because you were fighting a system that had been running beneath your awareness for decades. A system that does not know the difference between danger and destiny. It treats them both the same way, with resistance. That is why the last 5 years felt like pushing against a wall that should not have been there. Because the wall was not external. It was neurological. And no amount of prayer, no amount of willpower, no amount of positive thinking can override a nervous system response that was installed before you were old enough to choose it. But here is where the breakthrough begins. Your move, the one you just made, the one God said was the final key. Your move did something that years of preparation could not do on its own. It pierced the action threshold, not by force, by obedience. You did not overthink it. You did not wait for perfect conditions. You did not ask 12 people for permission. You felt the pull of the Spirit, and you moved. And in that movement, something ancient cracked open inside you. The chosen one who is hearing this right now needs to understand that what happened was not just spiritual, it was neurological. Your act of obedience created a new pathway in your brain. A pathway that your nervous system had been blocking for years. And once that pathway opens, it does not close again. It becomes the road your entire future travels on. If you just felt something shift in your body while hearing that, if your shoulders dropped or your breathing changed, that is the confirmation. Your body is responding to a truth your spirit already accepted. Type "I pierced the threshold" in the comments right now, because naming it seals it. Now I need to take you deeper, because understanding the action threshold is only the first layer. There is a second mechanism at work, and this one operates not inside you, but in the spiritual realm around you. Have you noticed that the moment you made your move, the opposition intensified? Not before the move, after it. The attacks came harder, the confusion got thicker. The people who had been quiet suddenly had opinions, and you wondered if maybe you made the wrong decision. That reaction is not evidence that you made a mistake. It is evidence that you made the right move. In the spiritual realm, there is a mechanism I have seen operate with absolute consistency in the lives of chosen ones. I call it the momentum seal. The momentum seal works like this. When a chosen one makes a move that aligns with their divine assignment, heaven responds by sealing the decision, locking it in, making it irreversible in the spiritual dimension. And the enemy knows this. The enemy knows that once the seal is placed, the season change cannot be stopped. So the only window of attack is the brief period between the move and the seal. That narrow gap where the chosen one can still be convinced to take it back, to second guess, to retreat. Every attack you experienced after your move was aimed at that window, not at your past, not at your character, at your decision. The enemy was trying to get you to unseal what God had already sealed. But you did not take it back. You held your ground, and the seal was completed. The confusion that followed your move was not the universe saying you misread the signal. It was the universe responding to the fact that you read it correctly. That is why God said that was it. Not just because you made the right move, because you held the right move through the fire that followed. And the combination of those two things, the move and the holding, activated a season that had been prepared for you since before you were born. I cannot tell you the exact date your circumstances will shift, but the pattern says that when the momentum seal completes, what follows is not gradual improvement. It is sudden arrival. Things that should take months happen in days. Doors that were welded shut swing open without being touched, and the people who counted you out become the first witnesses of what God does next. Chosen one, I need to pause here and hold something in front of you before we go further. Over the past several years, a discovery was made in a research laboratory that explains something most spiritually sensitive people have felt, but never been able to name. Not because it contradicts what is sacred, because it came from a direction most of us are not watching. A small group of neuroscientists, led by a doctor in New York who has spent over 20 years studying the human brain, found something about the way your mind is designed that connects directly to what we have been discussing. Something so fundamental it traces back to a Nobel Prize, yet so simple in its application that it sounds almost suspicious the first time you hear it. I am going to tell you exactly what they found later in this message, but right now, hold this question. What if the fog you have been feeling, the heaviness in your thinking, the distance between what you know in your spirit and what your mind can access, what if that is not spiritual weakness? What if something was taken from you at a level no prayer alone can reach? Now let me show you how your specific season is about to unfold. Because God does not just open a door, He opens the door, lights the path behind it, and walks you through it with precision. The move you made created what I can only describe as a chain reaction in the spiritual realm. One act of obedience triggered a sequence that will touch every area of your life. And the reason most chosen ones miss this is because they are looking for one big change, when God is engineering multiple simultaneous shifts. Your finances are about to enter a season where the confusion that surrounded your money begins to clear. Not because you will suddenly earn 10 times what you earn now, But because the fog that prevented you from seeing opportunity and making clear financial decisions is going to lift, you are going to see pathways that were always there but invisible to a mind operating at partial capacity. Your relationships are going to restructure themselves, not through dramatic confrontation, through a quiet shift in your frequency that makes certain people unable to stay and other people unable to look away. And your internal world, the landscape of your thoughts, your peace, your clarity, is going to undergo the most dramatic shift of all. The fog is not permanent. The heaviness is not your personality. Something was disrupted inside you, and it is being restored. There are 3 phases that unfold after the final key is turned, and you have already completed the first one. Phase 1 is the move, the act of obedience that pierces the action threshold. You have done this. This phase is behind you. Phase 2 is the settling. This is where you are right now. Everything you set in motion through your move begins to reorganize the spiritual landscape around you. It does not feel dramatic from the inside. It often feels like nothing is happening. It feels like the cruelest part. You made the biggest spiritual decision of your life and then woke up to the same Tuesday. That is not evidence that you misread the signal. That is evidence of how massive what you set in motion actually is. Something immense is happening. The architecture of your new season is being built in dimensions you cannot see. The settling requires one thing from you: patience without retreat. Phase 3 is the arrival. The arrival is not a single moment. It is a cascade, a series of breakthroughs that come so close together they feel like one continuous event. Financial doors opening, relational clarity arriving, physical health stabilizing, creative ideas flowing, and beneath all of it, a peace so profound it startles you because you forgot what it feels like to live without the weight. I need to give you something practical now. There is a practice I want to introduce you to that connects everything we have discussed into something you can use immediately. Every morning for the next 7 days, before you check your phone, before you speak to another human being, sit in silence for 3 minutes. Not to pray, not to meditate, to listen. And while you listen, place your hand on your chest and repeat one sentence. I am the one who moved. I am the one who stayed. That sentence does something specific to your nervous system. It reminds the part of your brain that has been running the old protection program that you are no longer the person who freezes at the threshold. You are the one who crossed it. And every time you repeat that sentence, the new pathway your obedience created gets reinforced. Now, I want you to do something with me. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the surface beneath you. Feel the weight of your body pressing down. And now notice something. There is a tightness you have been carrying, somewhere in your chest or your throat or your shoulders. A tightness that has been there so long, you stopped noticing it. Breathe into that space. One slow breath. Let your exhale be longer than your inhale. And as you breathe out, imagine that tightness dissolving, like salt in warm water, quietly, completely, because that tightness was never yours. It was the residue of the old season, and the old season is over. Guard what God is doing right now. Share it with God. Journal about it. Pray over it. But for the next 30 days, do not announce it to people who have not been through what you have been through. Let the foundation set, not because announcement would ruin it, because the foundation is still wet. Let it cure in silence first. If what I just described stirred something deep in you, type "I guard my season" in the comments right now. I want to go deeper now into something that has been quietly shaping your life from a direction you may not have expected. There is a concept in ancient Hebrew that has no clean equivalent in modern language. The word is mod. It means an appointed time, not just any appointment, A divine intersection where what God has prepared and what you have walked through arrive at the same coordinate at the same moment. Most people live in chronological time, one day after another, measured, predictable, linear. But the chosen one does not live in linear time. The chosen one lives in Moed time, where decades of preparation converge into a single moment that reshapes everything. Your move was a Moed moment, not because the calendar said so, because every invisible thread that God had been weaving through your losses, your delays, your tears,